to be a millionaire or some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you live in here. In this country, you got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody. In this country, it's outrageous and insane. Them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 for in piece of land? A pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last!
Yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, or Friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web. Pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed. Of course, well, we had to come the mic, so you didn't hear us, of course, chatting in the background, but indicating whether or not the monitor in studio is on and whether we are live or not. So we were having that little chatter before, of course, we came on live in terms of the audio. So I'm glad that you didn't get a chance to listen in. I trust that that is entirely so, because I think I might have been tardy in, of course, muting the audio. That being as it may, I want to say, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. I want to also say, of course, our profuse apology on the ground report for not having a ground report. And I tried my best, of course, as you would have noticed, on social media, whether it be Facebook or YouTube, to indicate that due to circumstances beyond our control, we'll explain on Monday. I don't want to preempt anything. And of course, we'll make a comprehensive statement on the matter. But on Monday, we resume on the ground report. The ground report. Of course, on the corridor transformation, we continue, of course, to do what we have to do in order to bring the information to you. Yes, indeed. Of course, Joshua and I are here. And of course, we will be doing it for you. Joshua will have his usual 15 minutes or so to interact with you. And look out for, of course, those excerpts with just Joshua and myself. I'm going to load them up on YouTube and Facebook all weekend. So all that we did so far in terms of Joshua's involvement, you will be seeing them on Facebook and on YouTube. So you have something to look forward to in terms of the weekend. But that being as it may, what can I say but just to go to Joshua now and find out what he did today, what he did yesterday, and whether or not he is still under the weather, so to speak. In other words, if he is still sick. But before we do that, let's of course take on the musical theme. The difficulty with, of course, inflation, with the economy, mismanagement, and all of the other issues that have created what I consider to be a difficult time for the ordinary family in Trinidad and Tobago. So the quality of life and standard of living that we would wish for ourselves have either dissipated or has not yet been realized. Why? Well, the government is only over 100 days in office, right? So we are optimistic, but of course, the last government did, of course, engage in profligacy, waste, and of course, arbitrarial, unprecedented. But we're not going to talk that in this segment. We're going to talk it in the big people segment. So sit back and enjoy. Let me just introduce Joshua in the meantime. But before that, let's hear a little bit of this calypso.
You got to have heavy contact, know how to move up in society to make any kind of impact in this country. You got to know how to chip the feel, how to scheme and swindle properly, perfect the art of wheel and deal. In this country, I say survival in this land isn't easy for no man.
Yes, yesterday, we get the gist of what Sparrow is saying because we are experiencing it, and it is the best form of education, that is to say, experience. But that being as, of course, good night to you, Joshua. I see you're only reading the comments. Just make your introduction, please, because you only have 15 minutes, you know. To engulf or to pay attention to only the commentary and not deliver what you want to deliver, 15 minutes goes very, very fast. But go ahead, my son.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, my son. Well, you would observe he's still under the weather, so that's a rhetorical question. But go ahead.
Anyway, so I don't really know what to say.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, what you did yesterday and what you did
yeah.
and what you did today.
So we went to the beach.
Oh, yesterday being what day? What day was that? What day was it?
Republic Day.
What? You get a good notion. And sorry about that, people. We weren't able to bring a broadcast yesterday because I was of the view, because Andy had communicated with me and he said to me, Lennox, I cannot make it tomorrow, which would have been Republic Day yesterday. Well, no, after Republic Day, which is today. And then this morning I got a note saying that he would not be able to make it either today. So last night, when we were supposed to come on the corridor, I said, but listen, oh God, that could be too tiring. Corridor, then to prepare for ground report in the morning, so I decided to just deal with one. I was prepared for the ground report, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to put things in place to make sure that we had a program this morning. So I trust that that is a sufficient explanation. As I say, on Monday, we will, of course, elaborate. But go ahead, what you did, yeah.
So I went to the beach.
All right.
And I went to in the water. I had a lot of fun. And I got some new friends.
All right.
2 boys, one kind of Spanish, one looking kind of Indian. They're looking like brothers, but I can't really see one light skin and one dark skin. So
All right.
I thought those brothers. I really do.
Okay. No problem. That is not
So they
something that you would be bothering yourself about. What again happened?
they taught me how to fish.
Oh, they taught you how to fish. All right. Okay. So
Turns out I was very good at fishing.
I turned out you're very good at fishing. So right. So if you're very good at fishing, what you caught? You caught anything?
Skill?
You caught?
A skill?
A skill? A fish? Is a fish? Name so?
No, I thought he was talking about something else.
No, but you say you felt comfortable. So I want to know if you caught anything because it's fishing.
One small fish.
Oh, caught one. All right, okay,
It
right.
was
Right. All right,
like this.
all right, okay.
And after that, we went in the water, all 3 of us. We brought floaties. I have a floaty in the car.
All right.
Anyways,
I saw that you were playing catch and all of that with one of the planet balls, what they call a tennis ball, you know, but lawn tennis ball. You know, they're table tennis ball.
cricket ball.
Yeah, well, that is not a cricket ball per se. That is really a tennis ball, but a lawn tennis ball. You know, there's a lawn tennis ball and there's a table with that you play tennis on as well, but that is a different ball that you use. That ball you see there, what happens is that people who play what we call wind ball cricket, they use the ball that is used by the tennis players, right, to play wind ball cricket. But the real ball that is used for cricket is really called what we call a cork ball or a leather ball. It's a hard ball. If you get a lash with it when you're in trouble.
The really hard red ball.
That's right. That's the ball we use.
bought
For
one of them for me.
And sometimes we use a white one, but it's cricket ball anyway.
You bought some. You bought one for me. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, yes, I did buy one because we were on the verge of doing some practice, some cricketing practice.
We never
Some,
did anything.
but we didn't get around to
We
it.
don't even buy bats.
I didn't buy a bat? Yeah, no, I had a bat, so I didn't bother to buy a bat. But anyhow,
No, we don't know.
you didn't have a bat? All right, okay. All right, if you say so. Of course, what else you did? You went to school today? No, why?
So my mother said it was half day. I didn't know. I was kind of ready to go to school, but I don't know.
All right. Is there any other activity then? You went to the library? What? I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
must have
went
done
to
something academic. Go ahead.
About the library.
Uh-huh.
Talking about the library, I brought back my favorite book.
I hear you.
The book from the book from when, like last well, I can't say like last month because it wasn't so long, but like a few weeks back.
All right.
You guys can remember Captain Underpants and the Polaris plot
Oh,
of
you love
Professor
that
Pooh.
book too. I mean, it's a whole series. that's what-
I bring it back. They didn't have any other book because when I was going to grab the book,
yeah.
I just looked back to see if anybody else was coming. Then after when I looked back, the book was gone.
So it's a very popular book among kids then. Oh, so people, all right, okay. So it's
If
always
you
in
see
use.
one of those in a library, just know, second you look back, when you look in front of you, it's gone.
It's gone. All right, okay. All right, so it's a popular book.
That's what happened to me today. It never happened before.
All right. Okay.
Anyways, I brought a dog man book too.
What's the name of that one?
Dog man.
Dog Man. Dogman. All right. All right. You want to do some reading from Dog Man at least because we have had, I mean, up to
Let me
here
at least
with
introduce
the
book.
captain.
Let me at least introduce the book.
All right, go ahead.
Let me at least-
Go ahead. You introduce the book.
Anyways, so this is a dog man book. It has series 2 other books.
Oh, the other series? 1, 2, 3. and
Alright,
so
so it had this injury where
on?
a accident happened
Uh.
with a dog, with a man
Mhm.
and his dog. They were on a mission. It was a police dog,
Okay.
and something happened. They crashed. Something else happened. They went to the hospital and they merged together,
Mm.
and it just became a dog.
And the man turned to a dog? Oh, okay, all right. All right, but it seems as though like you read the book already, so you're ready to come back tomorrow because when you get that book? When you took that book?
I read this book last year.
Okay, read it last year, you decided to read it again. Oh, I see. So you know the book. All right, you see how it has unveil information to the parent because when you're thinking that it's a new book, you see, tell me that you read it last year, so it's easy for him to read. So let's get just one page or 2 paragraphs as given me, and then of course I'll have to ask you some hard questions tonight in terms of English grammar, and it's about of course the 8 parts of speech. 8 parts of speech. So those of you out there, get your mind set for the parts of speech. And that is something that you must do in grammar. And of course, quite apart from knowing all of your marks, your full stops, when to use it, your commas, your exclamation marks, your semicolons, etc. Open inverted commas, close inverted commas, quotation marks, yes, and what are parentheses and all of that. We will do all of that on this program. He didn't know all that yet, but we'll get to that in due course. But let's hear what you have to read.
But before that,
All right.
Slimy, I know you don't like me, but can you please stop going at me? I really don't like you either. Not like anything, but can
You
you
see?
please stop coming at me?
So what's like missing? What's like missing about you?
Oh, I don't really want to say this, but I hate Slimy right now. He is just coming after me, and I'm just getting very tired.
Well, Slimy will have to eat his heart out because you will be here as a fixture and he will be where he is commenting, but he dare not come on a program like this, I'm sure. You know, some people, they compensate for their intimidation or their
No.
trepidation, you know, the
Slimy.
lack of knowledge and all of that. So they do things like that, hide behind the words and not come out in front like the young Joshua who will make such a person shame. But you want to read it or you don't want to read it?
Wait, I will read it. But Slimy, if you want to talk so much, why don't come on the program and say that?
That's all.
That's all.
That's all he has to do.
Why do you want to come after me? Like, why? What I do you? What did I do?
All right.
Like what?
Well, I read it. It's either you read the thing or you read it.
I read it because
Yeah, but you. All right. Okay. Good.
I really.
All right. Well, it has to be something that upset him, right? That somebody, of course, is making some probably attempting to make fun or whatever it is. But that's how it is, and he's learning that there are different categories and types of persons in this world. When they try to progress, they try to bring you down. And there are others, like you saw in the awards yesterday, when, of course, you do well. There are those who are prepared to acknowledge that you did well, and then, of course, provide some rewards, as we saw. Of course, I want to say congratulations to all the awardees that got national awards. I want to also specifically or especially say congrats to Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke. I think she really, really, really deserved it. As well as, of course, those athletes and those sports persons that featured loudly in the awards on this occasion. I want to say congratulations, of course, to Professor Kojo for getting one of three, the highest award that anybody can get in this country. The Order of Trinidad and Tobago. Remember that when we were saying OTT? The Order of the Republic, ORTT, the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, Dr. Selwyn Kojo got that as well as I think two other persons whose name I am not yet committed. I'm not yet committed to memory. But go ahead, read what you have to read. No, don't study that. You can't study that. You have to be focused. Focus on the job ahead of you. These people are, I may use a big word, they are obscurantists. Yes, so they have nothing to do but to criticize and target because they are petty and poor in terms of their own disposition, I'm sure, if they are put to the test. So don't bother with that. Just making up time while he looks for the paragraphs or the page to read from for us tonight. But I want to get quickly to the 8 parts of speech.
Wait,
Go ahead.
before George and Harold is saying, George and Harold from Captain Underpants,
Yeah.
they said that George and Harold made this book.
Okay.
That is what the comic in the book is saying.
Oh, all right. But let's read a couple pages now. I mean, we'll just read one page because we don't have much time. Don't forget the numbers to call. The number to call 337-6940. We may have a similar problem as the last time, people. So I'll have to use the phone, the hand phone. But on this occasion, I think it is fully charged so that it could meet the grade and the standard that we want to hear you as you make your contribution. Come on, Joshua, let's go.
So,
Yeah.
Dogman chapter 1. This book is fully it is a full comic.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear. Just read one page, right?
Dogman by George and Harold. So, the comic is saying beep beep up. The warden, I think,
Yeah, warden, yes, right.
The warden at the police station heard a truck outside and he came outside to get it. And he ordered a couch. So the people are bringing the couch out. And the warden is saying, my new couch is here. And when the couch comes in,
Yes?
the chief says she's a real beauty, chief. I know, says the warden.
All right, so it's referring to the
Wait.
couch. The couch is a real beauty.
No, the one I was saying that I thought was the warden is the chief. So
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, that's it?
Yep.
All right, okay. All right, so short but interesting, a couch. They calling it beauty, you know. That is, people call that for the kids that have joined us, call it figure of speech, where you describe something that is not really that, but is not connected to a human being, but that is how you make people understand you better. So, say you're watching a couch, you're watching a stove, you're watching a car, you say, oh boy, she is a beauty. But of course, you know that the vehicle is not a human being or animal, as the case may be. But certainly, the English allows you to use figure of speech so as to describe what you're looking to tell your audience or your listener. All right? So figure of speech. So that they call it figurative language. Figurative language. She referring to a couch? No, it's not a she couch. You may ask, but no, you can use it because you're using a figurative expression. All right? All right. Let's go straight. Parts of speech quickly. Let's hear as much as you can tell us, Joshua. Parts of speech, and then define them as well. Go ahead.
So it's supposed to have 7 that I know.
All right, 7, you know.
I don't think that I can remember all 7, but.
All right, that's it.
Noun. Noun, verb, adverb.
That's 3.
Adjectives.
4.
Pronoun.
Pronoun, right? 5, yes.
Conjunction.
Yes, 6.
Interjection.
Interjection, yes. Interjection, yes.
That's a 1.
Yes, that's 7, yeah.
Pronoun. No, I say pronoun already.
Did you see preposition?
No, preposition.
Preposition, okay, right, so
I
preposition.
forgot.
So that's the 7. All right, that's the 8th one. Yes, indeed, of course. Well, let me just be random then. Tell me what's a noun, what's a verb, or what's an adjective. Just tell me them 3, and then we'll come to the end of your segment.
A noun is a person, place, animal, or thing.
A word that tells you the name of a person, place, animal, or thing. Yeah, because it's language, so you have to say word, a word. All right.
What's the next one?
I said a verb and an adjective. A verb. So that's a verb. Da 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 da. I am singing. I am dancing. I am shaking. What's a verb? What's a verb?
Action word.
A verb is an action word. That's right. Yes, indeed. And what's the
Adjective is describing word.
is a describing word, right? You want to use each one of them in a sentence very quickly. Make it up one time off the top of your head.
I
No.
don't know what to say.
Yes, you can, man. Come on, man. You do that so many times, man. Put a noun in a sentence. Come on, quickly.
The boy is dancing.
The boy dancing. Where's the noun?
No. Oh, wait.
Where's the noun?
The cat is purring.
All right, the cat is purring. Okay.
I will say cat.
The cat is the noun, right? Okay. Make up a next one with a verb now and identify the verb.
The boy is dancing.
The boy is dancing, right?
Dancing.
Dancing, okay, right? Okay, all right, all right. And of course, adjective now, one with an adjective.
I don't know how to make a sentence.
Of course you do. You do that every day. You describe things every day, every day. You call people ugly. You call people nice. You just said that you don't want somebody to attack you on the live, and that person may be
that person is kind.
Unkind person. All of that. So let's hear. Yeah,
that person is kind.
That person is kind. What is the
Kind.
kind? All right. That person is kind. Kind. That person is kind. Give my next one. Give my next one because you could be kind as well.
Next one with what?
Adjective. I want a clear adjective. Because I noticed that you have on a blue pants. I noticed that you had a very large book.
Daddy has glasses on his head.
Daddy has glasses on his head. Yes. Which adjective in that? Because the glasses is a noun. Head is also a noun. So Daddy has glasses on his head. It doesn't tell me or give me any description of anything. Maybe if Daddy had a broken glasses on his head, then maybe broken describing the glass. Broken glasses. So let me hear.
Daddy has broken glasses on his head.
No. Make up a new one. Don't try that. Make up a new one. Make up a new one. Quickly. Describing word.
So what? Daddy shades broke.
Daddy shades broke. Oh boy. You still didn't tell me any description of the glasses. You ain't give me a description of Daddy. Nothing. I mean, it's a describing word, so you have to describe it. Let me come quickly.
The man has on a hat, a yellow and white striped jersey, and he has on a yellow pants.
Right, good. So what are the adjectives there? So you give me several.
Hat.
Hat is adjective.
Wait.
Where's hat? Where's hat in that sentence?
A noun.
A noun, that's right. So it can't be a describing word. But you did mention some describing words there, so let me hear.
Yellow and white striped shirt.
Yellow and white striped shirts. So the shirt is the noun, and the describing words to that noun, related to that noun, is that it is yellow, it is white, and it has stripes. So those are the describe the shirt, which is a noun. All right? Understand that. Right? Any other describing words in that sentence that you made up? Any other? I'm just asking. All right. You want to make up a next one for me quickly before you leave?
Oh, come on.
Come on, make up a next one, man. I don't understand how you have a problem with describing words. It describe a noun, so you get the noun and then you say something about the noun, and that is usually the describing words. Come on, let's hear.
Boyo has on a blue and red striped shirt.
You come back to that again?
Yes. Yes, I want to go quickly.
All right, okay. But you could have said Boyo has on a brown pair of shoe, and therefore brown describing the shoe will be, of course. That's all. Or Boyo is a bully. Describing what bully what Boyo is, a bully. That's a describing word in that context. But go ahead. Yeah, let me hear.
Okay, so Boyo has on a blue and red striped jersey.
Yeah, all right, go ahead. Yeah, I look for that. I asked you to make it up. All right. All right.
He has on a black and white striped pants.
Okay. Right. So give me the describing words there quickly.
And
More?
and
All right. Go ahead.
he has on a red pair of shoes.
All right. Okay. Right. So let me get the describing words quickly.
Yellow, no, blue and red striped jersey.
Yeah, but the jersey, you're putting jersey. Them thing describing the jersey because the jersey is a noun.
Shoes.
So I ask you for the describing words only. Don't give me no jersey talk. Right? Let me hear the describing words again.
Well, what of the thing that you wear?
Go ahead, let me hear.
What of the thing that you wear on?
The shoes now, come on, man. What color shoe? Say describing the shoes. What
The
color
shoe is a red shoe.
Right.
The shoes
So
are
what
red.
is the adjective there?
The shoes are red and
What is the adjective? I just want to hear the adjective. Tell me the adjective. Red, blue,
Red.
what? Tell me.
red.
Red, right. The adjective is red because the shoe is a noun. So therefore you're describing the shoe which is red. A red shoe. All right, or red pair of shoes as the case may be. All right. Okay. Well, I think this is a good lesson for you to not forget what an adjective is and how to use it, because if Miss give you a grammar lesson and you identify the shoes as the adjective, you will be what? Wrong. That's all? Yes. But if they say what describes the shoes, which is red shoes, then of course you know that you're right because red is the adjective. All right.
I wanna
Any pattern words?
I want to change the color. The shoes stay yellow.
All right. Okay. That's really bright, you know. But all right.
I don't
Okay.
like red.
All right. Okay.
I just say red because that's the first thing that comes to mind. I really.
Or he has a political agenda when he say yellow. That bright, you know, because he say he want to be a politician. Alright? And so he felt that red get too much prominence, and so he wanted to put in yellow now to signify some other agenda. I know them. All right. Okay. Any parting words?
I didn't know that you know me that well.
I am your father, my son.
How did you know?
Okay.
How did you know?
Yeah. So go ahead. Give us some parting words.
Please don't get sick. And
Alright.
stay in school.
Please don't get sick. Stay in school. Well done. All right. Thank you very much, son. And we will see little later. All right. Most likely he may not go to school tomorrow again. He may. But certainly on Monday he will have to. There is too much days missed. That being as it may, of course, people have a. The line is open, but let's go back to the theme this tonight. Generated by Mighty Sparrow, of course, and he talks about capitalism gone mad.
You got to be a millionaire or some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you live in here. In this country, you got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody. In this country, it's outrageous and insane. Them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television?
Well, people, of course, are quite apart from the fact that we are going to have a budget read in the first week of next month, about 2 or 3 weeks away from us. There are a number of issues that as Trinbagonians we need to focus on. And of course, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Dave Tanku, and the Prime Minister, and of course the entire cabinet, will have a bird's eye or full view of what the status of Trinidad and Tobago is economically. They will talk about macroeconomic issues, and they will talk about microeconomic issues, all of which are critical because the macroeconomic situation will be one where the state of the GDP, for example, whether we expanded, whether we contract. Of course, there are other things such as balance of payment, how much we are owing people beyond our shores, other countries, and how much other countries are owing us. We would want to know about the situation with inflation. We'll want to know, and that is, of course, the paying for more for the same goods, but you're paying more for it, inflation. You want to know about the state of our employment and how many people are either were employed or were dismissed. And of course, there are other macroeconomic issues that we have to look at in terms of where we are, where is the reserve, what is the state of the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, whether or not we are optimistic that we are going to get foreign investment, direct or indirect, or both. Yes, all of that. And whether or not we can import sufficient to satisfy the needs of the society. And that has to impact on the state of our reserve. There are those who are saying that we should devalue the Trinidad and Tobago dollar to, of course, make it more expensive to get one United States dollar, because that's the benchmark that we use. All of these factors, quite apart from all of that, there is something also in economics that called opportunity cost. That is to say, if you invest in something, what does that something that you invest in, you would have had to forego in order to invest in that, and whether or not it proved to be a viable option. And why not choose the option that you gave up in order to choose the one that you in fact engaged or you manifest? All of those factors we will be hearing in that budget. The one that I'm sure that will be capturing and will have people riveted to their seats is the situation with respect to the performance of the last administration with much more resource than the present one, and whether or not we can see what was done with the monies that was allocated. And I like to go for the jugular one time. People, of course, as I said, the line is open. I thought it's important, of course, to get to the point where we have to caution those persons who are exploitative or who are reckless or who are totally opportunistic, in the sense that they would see that the situation in Trinidad and Tobago is one where we have to belt tighten, to use that term, or be more sagacious or smart with the use of our limited resources. But they will continue to exploit, like the businessmen will be unscrupulous, and instead of satisfying themselves with a 30% markup or a 20% markup, they will try to have a 100% markup because they want to strangle the consumer. And so the cost of living goes up, and in so doing, persons who cannot put a meal on the table. I am not advocating crime and criminality, but in human situation, we have to be real. A person who don't know where the next meal is coming from and sees an opportunity or somebody invigilates them to go and steal their neighbor's property may likely do so. Again, it is not about encouraging or motivating, but it is about being real. There are those, of course, who I believe there's something wrong with their brain, frankly, when they tell us that in spite of those circumstances, you ought not to engage. Well, that's a function of the, what I consider to be the value system of the country, the value system of the society. Because don't matter what somebody invigilates you to do, and you know that it is wrong, you will not engage. That's a value. That's the function of the value system. And if the value system has broken down, if it is all right to take somebody's property and get away, and that action, you are satisfied, or it is generally accepted that the police will not catch you, and that your neighbor or your friend will not report you, then the proliferation and the escalation of that type of conduct, in spite of the fact that you would have gone through a process, all of us, of what is right and what is wrong. That's the value system we are talking about. When you are brought up in a home that says, do not interfere with your sister or your brother's thing if they did not give it to you, that is the inculcation process of the value. When you go to school and you are taught on a daily basis, whether in the kindergarten or in the early child care centers or in the primary school or in the secondary school, do not covet your friend's property. Do not, without that person's approval, take their money. And of course, when you go to church, they say, put your hand where it could reach, or do not put your hand where it can't reach. It simply means that live within your means. So if it is that your salary could buy you 2 loaves of bread for the week, then you should be able to find ways and means of making that do. But when you see your neighbor has corned beef and sardine and pork and beef and a big fridge and so on and so forth, you feel tempted to go across there and empty that fridge because them have too much. But there's another value that we must subscribe to and have been exposed to, and that is work for what you want. And you young people, while you're in school, Daddy will tell you, concerned friends of the family will tell you, and friends, and while you may not be conscious of why you are in school, but when they say do your work and get it right, Understand it, in other words. You are preparing yourself for a good job. You are preparing yourself for a level of knowledge that once you did well, nobody could encourage you to thief. Even though, of course, we have had exceptions to the rule. Let's not waste time with that. But the fact is that if the society was totally in this shambolic state of affairs, this chaotic state of affairs, then none of us would be safe and be able to function in such a society. So while, yes, we have the home invasions, and we have the larceny, and we have, of course, the kidnappings, and we have the robberies, one can say that it could have been worse, because suppose everybody was engaged. As I see your thing, I go and take it, and as you see mine, you go and take it, and that is how the tit for tat goes, and as a consequence, we have, of course, a society, and don't tell me you don't know, and if you don't know, well, I'm going to tell you one that is so. I'm talking about right here in the Caribbean, I'm talking about Haiti. And of course, on the African continent, I'm talking about Somalia. There are many other examples. But it's important that we understand the value system is one where we'll keep people within the confines. Some people may say that that is exploitative, because when a fellow born into wealth and he could eat ham, lamb, and jam, Smith, you could say what you want just because you might be born into wealth. Well, I want to tell you no. But what I want to tell you too is that I understand the value system that the society prescribes, and that includes work damn hard to get what, or as close to what the 1%ers in this society would have had. No, I have to accept that it is unfair when you have a situation where a family or individual or a group of persons, because they are connected to the political directorate of the country, and get an unfair advantage over the rest, to the point where, as I said to someone some time ago, to the exclusion of all the rest. Yes, it was on the ground report when somebody said that here it is, the UNC is engaging in an activity not dissimilar, or in other words, similar to that of the PNM. And I had to make a very salient interjection into the discussion, because you see, when we critically observe the function and the role of government, not in the classic or academic sense, but in the way that they actually operated. I'm talking here now about the PNM. We see that the principle of political patronage has been so skewed, has been so polluted, has been so damaged, has been so poisoned, that the entire leadership of the PNM couldn't tell the difference between genuine political patronage and political patronage to the exclusion of all else, because they believe that being in the position of decision making in the highest fora in this country and the offices, that they could exhibit a kind of conduct that once you are not a PNM, nothing for you. we see how dangerous that is. And I did, of course, not in this elaborate way because I didn't have the time, but certainly I could do so on the corridor transformation to tell you that to generate and expand political patronage to the point where you exclude everybody else is not just asinine, it's not just dangerous, it's not just stupid, it's not just defeatist, it is not just self-destructive, but damages the entire society. It damages the entire society. When a fellow who you know is a total nincompoop, did not go to school and did as well as you, and you know him personally, and suddenly he is eating ham, lamb, and jam because he hitches his wagon to the P&M, and you have to, of course, accept that it's not even a disparity, but a classic exhibition of corruption, nepotism, cronyism. That is what that is. But something else is the byproduct of such a policy or position as we have seen with respect to the P&M. And that is the institutionalization of mediocrity. Institutionalization of mediocrity, dangerous because it means, therefore, the people who can least manage the economy, manage the banks, and manage the ministries and all of the other institutions of state are there performing a level of indolence, laziness, a level of ignorance, lack of knowledge, and they therefore engage in a process of retrogression. We saw it. We witnessed it. The husband, for example, of the former speaker, and is that George? Given the commanding heights of our economy, controlled by the government to manage, whether it be pariah, you know where I'm coming from. You know where I'm coming from. And then makes a decision and does not want to compensate or accept by way of adequate compensation, cause people to go in a pipeline, come up dead, one end up surviving, and your position is that is not your fault. That by itself, my people, is a tragedy of inexplicable and monumental consequences. You saw the function of such an individual in HDC. You saw that in, of course, in the Police Service Commission. You saw it in UDICOT. You saw it in LAMDEFCO. You saw it in National Quarries. You saw it in HDC. You saw it in the Ministry of Finance. You saw it, of course, in the Central Bank. No country could sustain itself with that level of decadence, that level of incompetence, that level of mediocrity, because a fella gets as in this case, Rowley, a minuscule, hardly could be considered to be a landslide, and use that in the parliament because they understand the gravity and the power of the first past the post system of government, and then understand that while it says winner take all, it refers to the outcome of the respective elections. But when you get into government, you can't take all. You can't put your people there. And the PNM has proven to be so devastatingly porous of talent. Now, when you put a fella like Hines to be National Security Minister, you could only automatically say that crime will go out of control, and in fact it did. You put a fella like Imsbert, arrogant to the hilt and reckless as to the consequences of the decisions that he would have made, and has today the audacity, the temerity, the gall, the effrontery, and the bold-facedness to say he go sue somebody. Because somebody said that he made a mess of the Clico bailout. I would say tragedy. But here it is, a black man set up a conglomerate over years. I'm talking about the Dupreys, yes. Whether his predecessor or the man who ended up and having, of course, to ask the government. And the government of the day saw it as an opportunity to get at Pandey. And then a successive government, I'm talking about Rowley and Innsworth, see it as an opportunity to fire sale the people and them assets. Why am I saying so without fear of contradiction? It was the former governor of the central bank when, of course, this entire affair are talking about, of course, the Clico bailout tragedy. It's a tragedy. It was a tragedy for private sector. And I'll come into that in a while. It's a tragedy. And still is a tragedy. But when the then governor of the central bank said that he met with Imsbert when he first came into office, notwithstanding that Imsbert, because he was not cooperative, I'm talking about the man who got the $5 million court award in damages for breach of contract by Imbert and Day. Former governor of the central bank. He said in no uncertain, I don't come vexed before I play it, you know. He said in no uncertain terms that what Imbert was interested in is to get his hands on the assets of Clico. And what he said, Imsbert can't take nobody to court for that. Because I'm sure the governor, the former governor of the central bank would have had his documentation and he would have dotted his I's and crossed his T's. So I can afford to repeat it. But that's what he was interested in. And we saw what transpired, because at the end of the day, when the COVID would have been over, and of course the rebounding of the economy began to take shape, including of course the energy sector, here it is, the government then goes to court and asks for all of the balance of the money up front, and when they couldn't get it, they decided, but listen, they are going to confiscate, seize all of the assets, and they're saying still all of the assets still cannot make the, I think it's 25 billion that was of course expended by the state in order to get the bailout arrangement consummated. and accepted by, of course, Dupre and they. I'm sure they were saying that the government will show some mercy. The government will understand that if they get so involved that they could ruin, that they could destroy the private business sector. But they didn't care because their agenda wasn't that. Their agenda was to get as much of that as for a penny on the dollar in order to give to their 1% friends, as enunciated very lucidly by Rowley when he said that, of course, the rich will get richer and the poor will have to depend on what fall off the table, courtesy the rich. That is what he said. Let's not waste time. How the hell you could manage your economy in that way without understanding that those persons whose blood, sweat, and tears and generations went into the establishment of CL Financial and all of the other subsidiaries, including, of course, a Clico Investment Bank, and, of course, you have a Republic Bank, and you have, of course, the malls that they own. And you feel because you are in government, you could simply ignore that fact. What example are you leaving for persons who would have had an idea as an entrepreneur and then they manifest it, and it's usually sleepless nights, pain, because I have a simple organization and that is what it takes. Night and day work, burning candles at both ends, negotiating with persons who may be a supplier or, in my case, of course, a beneficiary. Yeah. Rowley and them didn't care. But I'm just simply saying that they owe the government, but the government bailed them out, that they have no obligation to make certain that they could be as humane as possible so as to find ways and means to give back the people their assets, especially in circumstances when, and after, of course, COVID, it began to show a rebounding, meaning that it started to show a profit, and therefore has the capacity over time to repay the entire amount, of course, with an amortization mechanism that would have been sensitive to the rate at which profits were coming, so that they could get back. And don't tell me that the government was right. Don't tell me that, because you'll have to tell me how long the government does take, if at all, when it gives, of course, a mortgage to a homeowner. They subsidize that, and they forego the subsidy. How come you cannot subsidize, in a real sense, these businessmen? Blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, it's embarrassing to Trinidad and Tobago. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yes, sir. Good night to the Fox here tonight.
Yes, man.
In the budget, right?
Yes.
I wouldn't like to see our money devalue.
No.
The reason I tell it, because our money really do have much value right now.
All right.
And to devalue, that's chaos. Right? And I am asking myself this. Now, just imagine men going to church on a Sunday and pray to God and leave these fellas in the pipeline.
Yeah,
what kind of heart men have to leave your own people to suffocate in a pipeline?
Yeah.
You know the kind of agony these fellas went through down there, and now they come in and talking like if there's virgins and never was in government and so forth, and telling the people all kind of nonsense.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
It's manic depressive psychosis, really, that these fellas have been massively infected with. But go ahead.
This is the point. And Penny's behaving like a child who now have a toy. When you give a child a new toy, they do all kind of thing with it. Penny being the leader, she behaving like a child. She's saying things that is nonsense. She ain't making no sense at all, right? And I don't know which one of them could take over the leader, because in Tobago they're saying Penny Clark run against Camilla for no election, but none of them could run against Camilla because all of them dotish. It's dotish men and dotish women in the party right now. The things they are saying, they are just carrying down the country and carrying down themselves. Them don't eating macaroni and rice, and who was in power? Who was in power at that time? Is the PNM. So when they're making this kind of argument, that they're not understanding, they're just talking because they have a hole in their face. These people are nonsensical. The smallest child will understand that these people are not good for the country no more. And Tobago, I'm telling all you one time, all you have an election coming up December. And PNM must relegate to the dustbin of politics in Tobago. We don't want them again. They are bringing nothing to our table. They're only degrading the country. And please, Trinidad, I'm telling all you have one coming up too. Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is a caller that understands what is at stake here. What is at stake? Remember, I started by saying that political appointees, political offices, and I gave a single phrase, political patronage, in other words, cannot be at the expense of everybody else. The antithesis or the opposite of that is what we saw when Rowley especially was in charge over the 9 and some point something years that he was. And we cannot afford that. No way. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Hello? Like you have a little knocking noise, they in rapid succession. If I didn't know who it was, I'd be ducking. It sounded like a machine gun. Hello? Hello? All right, we have to call back. That's sounding like a rapid fire taking place on the mic here or on the phone. Yes. So right, so he's calling back. Let's see. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead. We're getting this.
Okay, yes, that's the situation.
Yeah, this rapid fire in the background.
Oh, that's the situation with FICO.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
The company became solvent in 2017. Solvent in 2017. Remember, Edward was saying that it's not solvent, and it became solvent in 2017, and he still decided to stop.
Yeah, they still went to court. Yes, that's the point I was making. Yeah.
When you can easily call the executives and come and say, okay, we have a certain amount, we got already, what they want to sell, the finish pay us off. No, you don't want to do it. He mashed up the company.
Yeah.
You understand?
It was deliberate. It was deliberate. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Deliberately. Yeah. Right? Sad. I remember Dupree was instrumental with the Tobago Jazz. He started that and all. And I can remember when the country went through a Melbourne World, he said, oh, don't worry, we'll do this and we'll do that. You don't understand? Yes, he made some mistakes. We don't have to destroy the company that was worth 100 billion, right, Lennox?
Yes, you're quite right, my friend.
Right?
And the whole world is incensed about that. The whole world, that is unpardonable. You cannot take your office and do that when you were supposed to be seen about all. Whether you find the man too rich or whatever it is, or you're jealous because you couldn't do what he did and all of that. That is what them fellas brought to government, you know. You hear them talking now. They're vexed with Kamala because she is the prime minister. They're vexed because certain people are now in charge of what they had the opportunity so to do and made a mess of it, but don't want anybody else to try their hand in order to do a better job because anybody could do a better job than them, clearly, from what we have seen. That level of decadence and that level of what I consider to be incompetence and, of course, collapse that they have brought it to the table in terms of management is unfathomable, cannot be comprehended. You still there, sir? All right, look at
I can remember when Super.
Yes.
I can remember he made a call for 1 or 2
Yes.
after all this, and he said they want to take this company. He was talking about the technical, they want to take this company away and all that.
Yeah.
He died of a broken heart, and all.
Yeah.
He died of a broken heart. That man,
Brutal and
I
heartless.
was in the court when they liquefied the company.
Yeah.
When they liquidated the company, I was in the court.
Yeah.
And dropped
Right.
again, and I
And you
couldn't
understand
believe
why
it.
they're so
You understand?
blasted blight now, the PNM that is. Can't do people that and get away,
And
man.
this man still in this. Right, this man, but still there, still there. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
Right? That's that. And I'm glad coming up with service as I say, she stopped in liquidation. She stopped in liquidation. That's what you said she will do, and I'm happy about that. All right. So you take care, man. Good
Yes, man.
job.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much, man. So there are people who are concerned, not just me, not just the right-thinking Trinbagonians, all of them, but it was clear that their job in government is to display a kind of vindictiveness and a kind of what I consider to be covetousness for other people's hard work and the product thereof, and just take it just so because they got 23 and 23 and 22 seats in a national elections and pervert the concept of winner take all. Winner take all has nothing to do with stealing people's, using the executive to steal people's hard work. Them totally mad. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yeah, good night.
Good night to you, my friend.
Yeah, remember?
Loud and clear.
You see how much hatred. Yeah, what process had they never all the years?
Yeah?
Because you pray a black man build a business. And you was the largest conglomerate in this part of the world.
Yeah?
Bigger than me, plenty of them companies over here. And they can't take that because there's a nasty bunch of people. And most of guys can actually carry and then things like that. You pray business was bigger than anything ever had. Or we never have, you agree? So share it to them. And they were only just looking for opportunities to destroy the man business.
Yeah. And to become a fake, a fraud, 1% partner. You understand? Yeah, they want a catapult, just so, out of some kind of epiphany, just so, without any hard work, to become part of the 1%, their own version of the 1%. We have seen that when they even instituted a measure in the parliament, utilizing the parliament for their own aggrandizement, having not been able to work over the many years to become any kind of a significant player in the society in terms of wealth. By saying that only new buildings of a family orientation, high rise, they can of course get a benefit of no taxes for 25 years. And Rowley engaged, Imsbert engaged in that, and now we are knowing, but in a most despicable way, talking about Cummins, he engaged in that, taking advantage of that as well, but from a total state perspective. They still had a combination of private sector, state. The state, of course, being them, implementing a measure where they themselves would benefit from no taxes for 25 years, knowing full well that they're going, of course, and impose property taxes on everybody else. That is the nature of the beast we are dealing with. Go ahead, my friend.
That is right. The law called you, I told you, it's the beast. It's the beast in them. Right? But all what they plan for come to naught.
Yeah, oh yes, the hole, the hole that they dig for others, they fell into it
Them come like
ingloriously. Yes.
They come like a government, like some sailors wash up on shore. And only take them and put them in parliament. Remember how they used to answer questions?
Yeah. And all of them became just as him. They were saying literally, don't ask me nothing. I do this and that's it. This is not a democracy. This is a government for itself. And they were foolishly thinking by themselves. Well, the 28th of April gave them a shocker. Not yet, of course, not yet.
By the way, before I want to compliment Johnny Abraham for getting back the job.
Well, yes, well, I see you, it appears that all your advocacy, and only you are thought of when I saw it, only your advocacy has not fallen on deaf ears. Yeah, so he is head of the NOC, the National Operations Center.
But they will see the difference of what happened.
Yes.
You will see the difference of what will take place.
Yeah.
Now look, I don't really man, right?
Yes.
If I leave it up here to go in town, where are you going, Lennox? In Frederick Street, right?
Yes.
I ain't going to know all that street. I ain't going to Nelson Street, Charlotte, Frederick Street. And you still have people getting hold up on Frederick Street.
Yeah.
The
promenade, the bandits rule. And to get to Frederick Street, you had to cross the promenade.
Well, boy.
One way or another.
I see you. Good luck to Johnny, and you can solve that situation real quick. Streety, Alexander and Smith, and the commissioner.
Yes.
Crime will take a dive. I can't play in that land in it. Believe you me. And now I'm the right man in the position here. So, that's all I'm going to tell you, boy.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, I too am optimistic, but I know that there are other elements to that to achieve the ultimate objective, because as I've always said, and I'm using, of course, my own expertise here, both in terms of project implementation and addressing issues like these on a prophylactic basis, preventive basis, that police alone will not be able to solve the problem. It is much more complex than that, and therefore there's a need for what I consider to be interconnectivity and a multiple approach that has a sustainable nexus or umbilical cord that would drive through all aspects of the process in order to make certain that we put a handle and simmer down this crime situation that clearly they seem to be intractable at this time.
Why? But Johnny will get the job done and also, right?
Yeah. But as I say, it could only be done not with Johnny alone. That's the point I'm making. What he's doing here. Yeah. There must be some other, and I've not seen any approach in that regard. So while Johnny may be able, for example, and the commissioner to deal with those who have been engaged, catch the culprit, etc. But it's to prevent the people from going into a life of crime and start from now. That is why, of course, I brought on young Joshua to prevent that grouping from being exposed to the glamorization of crime. And then they themselves find themselves in. Remember, we had some 14,000 of them left school in July, and the July before another 14, and on top of that and before. So it's not going to be a police per se remedy or solution. But there is an approach that I think that has never been tested before, that they have to bring on board in order to make certain that we arrest that problem at every stage and level of that, what I consider burgeoning problem.
That's why you see that marijuana was illegal, right?
Yes.
That is what had them sure, so you know.
Well, you see,
That's what
yeah, that's one aspect of it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Because I said the same thing about when they were drinking puncheon, and they started laugh at me. Well, eventually a United Nations report said exactly that. They were emboldened by punching those who decided to engage. Somehow it had some kind of motivational power. And but they didn't know, because I would see these young men on the beatum and so on. And when they tell me, and I know when that came to my attention. One day, I think it was a holiday, and the fellow said, "Well, Mr. Smith, buy a bottle for us now." So I said, "All right." I said, "Well, I doubt them could drink a bottle." When I buy the bottle, and I go by the corner where they had all the drinks, I see about 5 bottles of the same kind. I talk about punching. I nearly drop. So God. Punching.
I hear they mixing cocaine with punching now, you know.
Yes, there's all kind of thing they're doing. The amphetamine and all of that. All that is powerful drugs to have them easily addicted, quickly addicted, and their whole life is turned upside down with that kind of dependence. Yeah.
What do you bring about that?
Yeah.
What you bringing them back to reality?
But that's why you have to segmentize it. You have to prevent people from going. You have to deal with those who are about to go, and you have to deal with those who are engaged. Those who are actually engaged, the possibility exists that they may have to spend the rest of their life in jail. You never could tell, but you still have a program there to save some of them, and that is how you do it. But there is specific methodologies and strategies to be adopted. All right? Yeah. Okay.
You was going on, but I telling you, see me?
Yeah.
I know them gone already. I won't even bother with them.
I hear you, but we still have to try, because we will get old, others will get old, and they will be a pest in our side. Yeah. All right, after go, we have another caller.
I don't know already, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, but you're not susceptible to the home invasions and all of the other things. Caller, call back. Sorry about that. Yes, people. So I trust that you understand the gravity of the problem that we are faced with and we must confront. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome, Arima. San Fernando.
Yeah, good night, sir.
Good night.
Well, I listened to your program here tonight.
Yes.
Very interesting topic about Clico,
Yes.
right? And the destruction that the PNM put down on Clico. But I want to say tonight also that Clico is not the only institution. I mean, they destroyed the Clico institution, right? But it's not the only institution that they have attempted to destroy, right? It is also the OWTU. They also tried to destroy the OWTU,
But that's the trend. I was using Clico as the epitome, as the classic. But certainly I mentioned the institutions of state as well and all of that. But they extend the poisonous tentacle into the private sector. And the private sector will include, of course, the OWTU as well. Yes. Go ahead.
Because you see, somebody was telling me just before the 28th, the April the 28th, there was a guy who was telling me that the OWTU people was greedy. And he was trying to outline why the OWTU was greedy. But I put it to him in a different form. I say, they can't. It's not that the OWTU is greedy. Now, yes, I would say everybody have faults, and you could probably, if you analyze it, all of us will make mistakes. Yes, the OWTU would have made mistakes, just like anybody else. But what I was trying to show him was the fact that when OWTU realized what was going on, is a realization that took place with the OWTU when they realized that was going on, that forced them to join the UNC and this coalition. You know?
Oh yeah. No, you are absolutely on the button there.
Right. So, I don't see it as Roger and them being greedy. I saw it as they realized that, that was
fatalistic mistake.
They took
Fatalistic venture, yeah. An ill-fated venture. Yeah.
What the OWC did also, they took a national approach to the thing.
Yeah.
You understand that this is what I was trying to show the individual, but the individual wasn't seeing it that way.
No, but let's face it. How could one say that the OWTU was greedy? The fact of the matter is that they are a representative entity of workers. And they have to negotiate for the best arrangement for their workers. The government, on the other hand, as the employer, has to try to minimize as much pressure as possible on the exchequer or the treasury of the country. In that scenario, when you negotiate, you come up with a compromise. So if you want 10, but you end up, let's say, with 8 or 7, that is the compromise. The PNM government, however, unprecedented in one budget, they are given 4% or 5%, I believe. After they talk about the 4% that the CPO was supposed to represent on their behalf, obviously, they can't say the CPO acting on his own. But then you come in a budget and say 5%. I mean, that is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Undermines the whole process. So what the hell you have the workers for? For nothing?
Yeah. Right. But
Representative are talking about for nothing? Yeah.
Yeah. But the other point I want to make too is that
Yeah.
This is concerning the issue on the number of how I should put it, children coming out of school failing exams.
Yeah, boy.
And not only the numbers failing exams, but the number of people in Trinidad and Tobago that are presently unemployed. That number would be big.
Oh yes.
Right?
I mean you
Simply
can't,
because
it's a moving target. You can't figure out that at all in Trinidad.
yeah, simply because the PNM was crashing the economy.
Yeah.
And it made even businesses was shutting down, right? So this present regime now it's not now what Hines and they had also tried to do was doing. They were just taking like 1 or 15, let's say 15 people, put them in a cocoon, right? And try to make something out of them that in a mediocre, pretty kind of way, and say that they're creating success. But
Yeah.
you remember the program that Heinz had on, that where he was trying to take, I think was singers or something, so, and just, giving them a piecemeal something.
Yeah. Comments, I think, is a classic example where, of course, he said that you were giving, of course, these homesteads to potential farmers, and about 400 of them have applied, but they could only take in 200. But out of that, maybe 60 will eventually get assistance. Yeah, there is a socio-psycho term for that. It is called framing. When you take one minuscule part of it, but a particular mechanism or system that appear to be successful, and then you, by your propaganda, try to make it look as though it is the overall, the overall, when in fact you're just hoodwinking and and BSing the people.
Yeah, but when in truth and in fact it's not that, because you see.
No, it's minuscule. It can't even scratch the surface, far less to make a dent. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They forget that the number of people living in Trinidad and Tobago is 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And you would have 40,000, 50,000 people being unemployed. So what you're doing about that 40, 50,000?
And they're so stupid. They're doing exactly what you just said here, engaging, of course, in what, as I said, is called framing, making one success, make it look as though it's the total. But when objective scenarios present itself, like when the police begin to recruit, or when the prison recruited, or when a shipping agent begin recruiting, you see thousands of persons coming up, but they're using that to say that they have solved or solving the situation of crime. And all of us know they're trying, of course, to insult our individual and collective intelligence. Go ahead.
So the approach really should be a holistic approach to the problem.
Yeah.
You understand? Because if you take it in that way, then you wouldn't. Because, okay, look at this. Right now, the UNC government is trying to put Trinidad on the map, so that.
Well, I'm yearning to hear the Prime Minister's address to the United Nations General Assembly.
Yeah. So it's an attraction. So once you could attract people back to Trinidad, right, and make Trinidad proud, or you bring.
Yeah, give us the standing, give us the hegemony position that we had before. You know, but even more, what I consider to be intense and much more productive in our interests.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that now, when Trinidad is being put on the map, even with the parenting bill, the grandparenting bill that was brought just 2 or 3 weeks ago, that would encourage people to come back to Trinidad.
Yeah.
You understand? So once you do that, with that kind of encouragement, when you look at I watched the thing where the Prime Minister went where she was speaking with the sportsmen when they came back after having won.
Sports tourism. You're seeing that. You're seeing the embryo, the embryonic stage of that will mushroom into all kinds of what I can say benefits as far as the tourism product in Trinidad and Tobago is concerned. And making 3-4 fellas ambassadors, sports ambassadors. I could imagine how they're working hard to tell every single athlete who come first, who come last, who from France, who from Italy. Come to Trinidad now. We have a nice place. You make a joke. I could see Trinidad and Tobago just blossoming and flourishing with US dollars and French francs and British pounds coming into Trinidad. Scuffer. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that myself.
Yes.
You understand? So these are the few pointers that
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, people. Well, we have come to the end of tonight's program one time. I hope nobody has called now. Let me just round up what the point I was making when I started and, of course, went into so much areas to demonstrate the incompetence of a government that believes somehow that they could engage in the political patronage to the exclusion of everybody else and expect to manage the affairs of the country. We have seen that that is a prescription for disaster, for failure. And it has failed so spectacularly that the PNM itself imploded. And you hear recently what Penny and Imsbert are saying. They're not only sorry, but that they've lost their way. So you and I, with common sense, before the elections of the 28th of April, would have sensed that already if we were paying attention, of course. I want to conclude I want to conclude, but let me just take this call. Pleasant good night.
Before the elections.
Pleasant good night.
Hello?
Yes, good night.
People.
Pleasant good night.
Hello, good night.
Good night. Yeah.
Yes.
Go on, boy, you're breaking up.
You hear me clearly?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, go ahead, come here. Nah. If you're speaking, I'm not hearing it at all now.
Yeah, I'm just see on. I say you're going to the United Nations. Yeah. How come you ain't go to the United Nations with all them rest of people, a big talker like you with all them big words? How they leaving you out so?
Well, you know what it is. If your time ain't reached yet, let me put it that way. Then
Hello?
you just accept.
Your time ain't reached?
Yeah.
Your time ain't...
Yeah, time and space is very important. So that's what I'll say, because I know more than anybody else. All right. Yeah. No, you're breaking up. Sorry about that. Right. So yeah, time ain't reached yet. I know more than everybody else, right? So to go to the United Nations is irrelevant. I am usually invited to the Inter-American Development Bank every year. The last time I went was in Colombia, in their of course, session. So I don't have to depend on the government to be invited to a forum like that. And if I wanted to go to the United Nations, because these international forums or fora, there is of course before the prime ministers and the head of state meet, there is an NGO session. I'm usually invited there. If I go in my email now, I would see something of that nature. So we are focusing. So I'm not going to be deterred or feel that there is something short or there is something to be missed because of that. I think we have competent people there. The prime minister is heading that delegation. You don't want anything better than that. If, for example, if I am there, I wouldn't get a chance to speak. Obviously, the prime minister would speak. So I know that one can be as facetious, and one could be as sarcastic, and one can be as even malicious, but it does not take away the fact that the reality of Trinidad and Tobago is what it is as a consequence of the last. There are those, of course, who were of the view that somehow the PNM was infallible, that they couldn't be beaten electorally, etc., etc. And we were saying the only sound that could not have happened is if they steal the elections. And while some were calling for mass protests, etc., we were satisfied, I was satisfied that what was being done, whether in the ground report, whether it be a pushback, whether it be, of course, the corridor transformation, enough was being done so as to generate the massive victory that the UNC coalition of interests dealt on the PNM to have them where they are, in a state of no return and on the verge of extinction, politically, of course, extinct. But let me just conclude, because we have come to the end of the program now. Let me just say that the point I was making is that when you institutionalize political patronage to the exclusion of everybody else, you are at the same time parallel and simultaneously promoting mediocrity, not meritocracy, mediocrity. And that is what Trinidad and Tobago was reeling from, by a government who believed that it could stay in office by those kinds of shenanigans, having their people in the office, and then of course only their people accessing the services that the institutions of state were supposed to deliver to all and sundry in the society. That's the point I am making. And I was making the point against the background that the UNC would have understood as well that political patronage is a critical and a significant and a very, what I consider to be pertinent part of the process, because you have to put your people in place in the political offices. In other words, replacing those persons in political office that the PNM put there. Otherwise, you'll have to tell me why it is that Biden people are not in Trump administration in the political offices that they once held. You'll have to tell me that. And since you can't explain, I know you can't explain, because that is par for the course. That is part of the process. However, the big difference with the UNC and the coalition of interests, which will ensure that that process is maintained, that fair and equitable process. Yes, political appointees must go. Let's not waste time. It's the first time I'm seeing that political appointees talking court talk. Stupid. Because in 2015, the UNC political appointees had to go. How come the PNM political appointees, these stupid 12 plus 1 saying stay there, be going to court? Damn fools. These are political offices. All of Europe's political office. All of CPEP is political office. Let's not waste time. It's a different ball game, of course, if you come to institutions such as the Public Service Commission. But when the PNM takes 300 of the 400 national, the best that we could produce, scholarships, and take 300 of the 400 and put it in the hands of the Ministry of Education and says bursaries, again is an extension of that bizarre, that foolish, that self-serving, that only PNM people who could get those bursaries. That's what you're saying. That's what you did. And then you promote mediocrity, because these are not the people who are getting national scholarships. These are not the people who are competing, everybody in whatever field, and the best will turn up, and therefore Trinidad and Tobago will be better for it. That did not happen. The PNM, what they did, they created a scenario where only PNM people must now get these scholarships, and therefore when they get to the second class and the third class grades, they then put them, of course, in first class offices in the ministries and so on, so as to keep them in office. So when they misbehave in public office, when they corrupt the institutions that they are attached to, including, of course, the cabinet, the police commissioner acting or otherwise, can't do anything about it because he is beholden to the PNM. That's what they have promoted. And it is not sustainable, as we have seen. Country could only be destroyed as a consequence. Yes, you're going to find some that will ease through the crack, but it must not be par for the course. It must not be the raison d'etre. No. It mustn't be the normative behavior. It mustn't be the modus operandi. Understand that. So let us not waste time. So the point I am making is the UNC will, yes, recognize political patronage to the extent that political offices must be filled by UNC coalition people. Full stop. And when the Ministry of Social Development has to function, community development, sports, agriculture, the Office of the Attorney General, NIDCO, NAMDEFCO, UNICUT, the ordinary citizen must get a fair shake by, of course, a process that is transparent and accountable, so that the ads will go out, people apply, and once they qualify, they get. I am not saying that even on that level there are some who may get through the cracks, but by and large, that is the principle, so that everybody has a chance to make it in the country, and not one set of people capturing everything and focusing everything on themselves, and then getting filthy rich and still not providing anything privately, sharing anything, and playing that they're poor, like Cummins and Rowley and Innsmouth, and playing the poor, and of course Brad Manning and all of them playing the poor. We'll find out who they are in real. So that's the point I'm making, people. So have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. Don't forget tomorrow night we don't have any. That's my night off. But certainly I'll be back on Saturday night. And I want to say, of course, my apology once again for the ground report not reporting to you today and tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday. We will, of course, make the appropriate announcements, but suffice it to say that it is because of circumstances beyond our control. So have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. And as we started, and I trust that tonight's lesson will be one that you can really not just empathize with, but research, practicalize, and at the same time verify the veracity of what was said tonight. Yes, indeed.
You got to be a millionaire or some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you live in here. In this country, you got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody. In this country, it's outrageous and insane. Them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 falling piece of land? A pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last, here in Trinidad, we see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad, because due to capitalism gone mad.